We're driving the Audi Q8 e-Tron. It's all new for 2024 and it's electric. Coming up, I'm going to explain what a Q8 e-Tron actually is, and it's probably not what you're thinking. But first, let's begin with interior.
Sure, we have this platform.
It is a monolith to shifting.
But this beautiful wood?
Oh yeah, that's wood. It's open pore, which is the modern fashion.
There's a warm, elegant version of futurism here.
What about functionality?
The door storage is very large. I did have trouble with my bottles falling over. This one, on the other hand, grips the bottle very tightly. In the morning when I really wanted to drink my coffee, I feel like it did not let go fast enough.
I also like the adjacent phone slot.
Keeps your phone close at hand, but you are not tempted to look at it at all.
That vertical position also contains the wireless phone charging. You've got two adjacent power ports.
This center console isn't huge, but it is large enough for your flying eye sunglasses.
Whatever brand you're integrating into your content, you can put it in there.
The front seats are extremely adjustable, very comfortable.
I'm currently enjoying a revitalization massage. This is included with the Prestige package, which is not a cheap package, but hey, you want your lumbar massaged? Spring for the Prestige. This is as good a moment as any to pay off the tease in the beginning of the video. Okay, if I were to tell you Q8 e-Tron, you might think, oh, is that an electrified version of the Audi Q8?
That is definitely what I thought.
That is not what it is. The Q8 e-Tron is the new name for the Audi e-Tron. More confusingly, they're both roughly mid-size-ish SUVs. We'll dig deeper in a moment, but in addition to adding the Q8 moniker to the e-Tron name, the Q8 e-Tron also gets a range of updates. With all of that said, let's talk about interior space. Seated behind my ideal front seat position, I have plenty of knee clearance, head clearance is great, it's a roomy spot. The middle position is a bit tight for extended use for an adult, and because of how the center console moves back, for shorter legs that don't necessarily have the knees at the edge of the seat, it's a little bit hard for our daughter to sit in the middle position as well. In the back we have a center armrest with two cup holders that flop out, plus a little slot to stow your Rogue Lucky Charms. I do wish those rear seats reclined, but I do like the fact that not only do you have center vents standard, but you also have B-pillar vents. For cargo space, there are 28.5 cubic feet behind the second row.
The cargo area is slightly sunken so that if you're hauling groceries home, your cans won't roll out the back. On either side, you have a little netted bin that you can place small items in. There is underfloor space with additional cargo storage. There is a bin you can pull out, so you can store things and carry them elsewhere handily.
I know, I haven't had anywhere to store my shrimp in recent press cars, but now I've got a convenient plastic hold into which I can put all of my crustaceans. Langostinos, crawfish, crabs, lobsters, all the fruit of the sea. I also like that you've got the rear releases for the seat backs, so you don't have to go around to the side to flop those down. And the 40-20-40 split setup for the rear seat backs means you can have a long item coming down and still have 4 people in normal seats. Underneath the load floor, there's also a temporary use spare, and then interestingly, if you go up front, there is a frunk. Underneath that frunk space, there's also a tire air kit, and I kind of like that they included both. Kiddo, how do you find climbing in and out of the Audi Q8 e-Tron? The Q8 e-Tron is low enough for our daughter to climb in and out of, but it's not too low. When I get in and out, you sort of just slide right into the things. And sweetie, how is it getting the child seat installed?
The latch points are covered by plastic covers which remove very easily, super fast to snap it in, and there's a generous amount of space back there. I think you could put a rear-facing car seat in there.
As for safety, the NHTSA has rated the Audi Q8 e-Tron 5 stars overall. Meanwhile, the IIHS has named it a top safety pick plus. Among active safety features, you've got lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, blind spot warning, and 8 airbags are standard. Plus, there are 2 more optional side impact airbags available. Family, what do we think? Is the Audi Q8 e-Tron family friendly?
Yay! Small, rich family friendly.
Rear window test.
Halfway down.
Halfway down. Armrest test. If I lower the seat all the way, I can get a little bit better access to the armrest, but then I can't see over the dash. Down I go, okay, I can kind of...
It's like driving with me.
Yeah, I've entered grandma mode, and so I can get my arms on here. If I adjust this to a little bit more favorable visual position, I just can't reach. Reasonable squish factor on the inside. We do have stitching on the edge, which adds a little bit of an abrasion component. Outboard, you got this little like edge on it, but it will compress. Because of reach issues, I'm gonna go 60% inboard, 50% outboard. Hey, would you like to see more videos like this where we review cars as a family plus the occasional helicopter adventure? If you would, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to get early access to our videos, feel free to join our channel. Onward to style.
The Audi Q8 e-Tron is not obviously electric. Some people prefer to blend in with their electric vehicle, and I think this can do that.
You're right, it doesn't look boldly electric, it looks like an Audi to me. But it is very much electric in that the shape is very slippery. 0.29 drag coefficient, so we're maximizing the electricity that we're using. So a very efficient shape.
I like how crisp the lines are along the side, especially above the rear tire. It gives it kind of a brawny feel. Oh, and that logo on the front. I haven't seen that 2D effect on a vehicle before, and I really like it.
By the way, the one we're driving has the $2,000 black optics package, which adds 21-inch wheels and black exterior trim. And if you appreciate sleek black styling, you might appreciate these Flying Eyes Kestrels. They're Micah spec, matte black frames with mirrored rose lenses. Thanks to Flying Eye's patented Brazilomite construction, the frames are extremely bendable and super lightweight. So, whether you're a pilot or someone smart enough to have a more affordable hobby, they are the most comfortable sunglasses you'll ever wear. Click the link in the description below. If you use the promo code Micah, you'll save 10% on Flying Eyes. Here they are bending again. Two more style notes. The only paint you can get that doesn't add cost is gray. And then there is a Sportback version that has a more sleek shape and also offers better range than the version we're driving. Overall, we're feeling pretty positive about the Q8 e-Tron style, but what do you think? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comments. Onward to In Motion. Driving the Q8 e-Tron, I find it has a planted and comfortable ride. Now we have an adaptive air suspension standard. I'm gonna put us in comfort because I've reached that age. One complaint about pulling up drive modes, we don't have actual buttons to do so, and it's very low placed. So you have to look down here and identify which triangle you need to press. Conversely, you can press that and then go make your selection up here, but then you're moving back and forth. For propulsion, we've got a dual motor all-wheel drive setup. In normal driving, it is rear biased, and then as needed, it will apply power via the front motor. Put it in S mode, then I got a little boost indicator. So normally S would be like sport if you were like driving a car with a transmission, but in this case, S makes this drive in an all-wheel drive format perpetually. So now if I floor it,
Whoa.
always all-wheel drive, and then that gives us our highest horsepower rating. I'm coming to a stop here, I'm feeling the brakes, and at a normal deceleration rate, the brake feels pretty good. However, I found that if you have to push a little bit harder, like maybe more emergency type stop, that it has a bit of a wooden feel. There is no one pedal drive mode. In talking to Audi PR, they've explained that the most efficient way to drive is not to accelerate, then regenerate, then accelerate, then regenerate. It's actually to accelerate and then coast. And that's why these paddles up here, which activate the regenerative braking function, I can pull this, and this is maximum regen, and then as soon as I start accelerating it, it deactivates that regen. Personally, I like the option to choose the behavior, but Audi is making the efficient choice on your behalf. Last brake note, there are 15.7-inch rotors up front with 6-piston calipers, so if you do need to stop with haste, the braking power is there. One thing I really appreciated driving the Q8 e-Tron was the way it steered. It does this thing where it ramps up resistance in a very predictable way, a very communicative way, and that is especially helpful in an EV where you don't have the sound and vibrational cues of an engine that sometimes lets you know, like, I'm going about this fast. So I had a sense that I could push the vehicle while still staying well within its limits. You wouldn't think it, but for an EV, good steering actually makes a big difference in terms of driver enjoyment. All right, that's what I think, but what does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel. You've got an odd drive selector here. How do you find using it?
I am generally off-put by a weird setup for a drive selector, but I found this one easy enough to figure out.
There's only so many ways you can use it, so that's helpful. Let's pull away here.
Ooh, I like the way this sounds. Sounds like I'm driving to the future.
How's the steering feel? Is it heavy, light, precise, what?
There's a real immediacy when I turn this that makes it really fun to steer.
Okay, we're just gonna come to a stop here and then floor it. How's that feel? Whee!
Very speedy.
Do you have enough power?
I do, plenty, thanks.
Does it feel like fun power or is it intimidating power?
It doesn't feel like an intimidating amount of power. It feels manageable.
What about visibility? Any issues seeing out of this thing?
Visibility is good all around.
If you were in the market for a luxury electric SUV, would you feel comfortable driving an Audi Q8 e-Tron?
I absolutely would.
Well, that sounds pretty positive. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. In total, driving the Q8 e-Tron is like driving an Audi, but electrified. Let's move to remarks. Remark number 1. All the infotainment stuff here is all the same stuff we talked about in all the other Audis we've reviewed recently, which is why I know that that's a 10.1 inch screen, and that's an 8.6 inch screen down there for the climate control, and that's a 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster giving me vivid information.
And just like in all those other vehicles, the icons are huge, which makes it easy for me to see things out of the corner of my eye. And the menu is just laid out in a very logical way. My pro tip for using this infotainment system is to turn off the haptic feedback.
Just touch the thing rather than worrying about how hard you're touching the thing. Hello, Iguana. By the way, wireless CarPlay and Android Auto both come standard.
I do prefer personally physical buttons for climate control, just because I find it easier to operate while I'm driving and not looking at it, but this is very clearly laid out if you're looking at it. I'm super forgetful, so I really appreciate that it reminds you when you leave your mobile device in the car.
And I like the fact that they've got a really vivid 360 cam. And now it's our daughter's time to shine. Kiddo, what is your favorite feature in the Audi Q8 e-Tron?
My favorite feature is the blue lighting on the door.
Yeah, I really like that LED lighting has become so accessible. Little streaks here and there really enhance the interior. And that was Kiddo's favorite feature. All right, let's talk engine choices. The Q8 e-Tron features a 114 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack and dual-motor all-wheel drive. Its 285-mile range is competitive among mid-size EV SUVs. There is also an SQ8 e-Tron, which has the same battery, less range, more power, and it costs about $15,000 extra. Reiterating the updates for 2024, the Q8 e-Tron has a higher battery capacity than the former e-Tron. It also offers faster DC quick charge rates, moving up from 150 kilowatts to 170 kilowatts. For charging, it should take 31 minutes to getting from 10 to 80% charge if you find a 170 kilowatt charger. If you're charging at home, it'll take you 13 hours if you've got a 240 volt home charger operating at 40 amps. The Q8 e-Tron also includes 2 years of free charging with the Electrify America network. I took advantage of that free charging and it worked. Plugged it right in, started charging, no problem. Sweetie, may I share our trim recommendation?
Please do.
Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. We're going to suggest the base Q8 e-Tron. It includes everything a driver could need. 4-zone climate control, a power hatch, heated front seats, leather, a panoramic roof, and smart key access. And if you're ready to buy a Q8 e-Tron, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to see how much you should pay for a Q8 e-Tron and what your current car is worth. As for competitors, there's the Cadillac Lyriq, the Tesla Model X, Mercedes EQE SUV, and the BMW iX. And if you're curious what we thought about the BMW iX, click right up here. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. Synopsis! Looking through Audi's press materials, they have stated that they are going to sell only EVs by 2033. Thinking about the Audi Q8 e-Tron, it is a taste of what's to come for the Audi brand. To us, it is the amuse-bouche of electrified SUVs. That is my favorite phrase to use in any situation. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Audi Q8 e-Tron. May I have a 5 and a 5? Pew. And you, come get your high five. Bam!